Hollywood is full of reinventions. Stars tweak their names, change their looks, and sometimes rewrite their pasts to fit the roles they're chasing. Meghan Markle was no different. But here's where things get interesting. When you trace her Hollywood timeline, the numbers don't quite add up. She landed small roles on shows like General Hospital and CSI, New York before her breakout in Suits. Casting records from those early days suggest she was competing for roles meant for actresses several years younger. And producers, they rarely question it if the actress looks the part. But before we continue, please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell for more updates. But whispers spread fast in Hollywood. A few casting agents claimed her official age didn't match up with her energy, her classmates' recollections, or even the graduation years listed in old yearbooks. So, was Meghan simply playing the Hollywood game, trimming her age to stay competitive? Or was this part of a much bigger narrative shift? The high school clues. Let's rewind. Meghan attended Immaculate Heart High School in Los Angeles. Alumni records point to her being in certain class years that don't align neatly with the birth year she claims publicly. Classmates recall birthdays celebrated in years that would make her older than the official story. And then there's the yearbook photos, grainy but telling. Meghan standing next to classmates who were notably younger, smiling in uniforms, hair tied back, eyes full of ambition. She looked older than the peers around her, even then. But the question remains. If the paper trail shows otherwise, why does the public record insist on something different? Suits, success, and a carefully crafted persona. By the time Meghan hit her stride on Suits as Rachel Zane, she was marketed as a fresh-faced actress breaking into the prime of her career. Her public age fit perfectly with that storyline. She was young enough to seem on the rise, yet old enough to be taken seriously in Hollywood. But here's the kicker. If Thomas Markle's birth certificate revelation is true, she would have been well into her late 30s when Suits gained momentum, not the early 30s narrative she sold to the press. Why does that matter? Because age shapes opportunity in Hollywood. Had she been transparent, casting directors might have seen her differently. The media narrative might have been less up-and-coming starlet and more seasoned actress finally breaking through. And Meghan, savvy as she is, knew that perception is everything. Age and the royal fairy tale. Now let's layer in the royal factor. When Meghan met Prince Harry, the world was told she was in her mid-30s. A woman at the perfect age for romance, marriage, and starting a family. But if Thomas's claims are accurate, she was closer to 40 or even older. And that detail changes everything. The fairy tale narrative the press spun. The glamorous American actress swept into a royal romance, hinged on her being at a certain life stage. Young enough to still be a modern princess, but mature enough to take on royal duties. Take away that number, and suddenly the story feels different. The romance is still real, but the branding, the image carefully sold to millions, shattered. Why age matters more than you think. Some might say, so what if Meghan is older than she claims? Who cares? Age is just a number. And they'd be right if we were talking about ordinary circumstances. But this isn't ordinary. This is the British monarchy, where perception and tradition are everything. Here's why age matters in Meghan's story. 1. Family planning narrative. The press framed Harry and Meghan as a couple racing against the clock to start a family. If Meghan was several years older, questions about Archie and Lilibet's births, already surrounded by controversy, become louder. 2. Relatability factor. Meghan branded herself as a relatable woman navigating love, career, and motherhood at the same age as millions of fans. If her real age is older, was that relatability carefully manufactured? 3. Royal succession optics. While Meghan and her children are far down the line of succession, age plays into the monarchy's story of continuity. A duchess significantly older than the public thought adds weight to the narrative that the Sussexes are separate from the core royal future. The palace's silent panic. Imagine the scene inside Buckingham Palace. Aides scrambling, PR strategists panicking, phones buzzing with crisis meetings. A duchess lying about her age? For the monarchy, it's more than gossip. It's a reputational firestorm. And for Meghan, Silence
Look,
might
it would
not
be
be an
worth it.
option
That wasn't
forever.
the original
The
ending,
public
though,
will
what we ended
demand
with it.
answers. The press will dig. Every document, every timeline, every old interview will be scrutinized. And when the truth emerges, whatever it is, the fallout could redefine Meghan's entire legacy. Curiosity teaser. But here's where things take an even darker twist. Thomas Markle isn't just talking about age. Insiders say he's hinting at deeper secrets, details about Meghan's childhood, her Hollywood ambitions, and even her marriages that could expose layers of truth the world has never seen. So, the question is, what else does Thomas have up his sleeve and why reveal it now? Thomas Markle's motives: revenge, desperation, or truth? Thomas Markle isn't new to the spotlight. Ever since Meghan Markle's rise to Duchess status, he's been an unpredictable character. Sometimes quiet, sometimes explosive, and always controversial. But what would drive a father to reveal something as intimate, as damaging, as his daughter's real age? The answer, as always, isn't simple. A father's betrayal. To understand Thomas's motives, we have to rewind to the early days of Meghan and Harry's engagement. At first, Thomas was supportive. He gave interviews expressing pride, reminiscing about Meghan's childhood, and sharing stories of a daughter he once adored. But then came the paparazzi scandal. The staged photos, the accusations, the fallout. Thomas claimed he was trapped, manipulated by the press. Meghan and Harry claimed betrayal. The rift widened. By the time the wedding came around, Thomas wasn't walking his daughter down the aisle. Instead, he was in Mexico watching the royal spectacle on TV like everyone else. From that moment, the father-daughter relationship fractured beyond repair. So when Thomas now reveals something as damaging as a falsified age, critics wonder, is this truth-telling or revenge from a man cut off by his daughter? The financial strain. Let's not ignore the money. Thomas Markle has long complained about his financial struggles. In multiple interviews, he admitted he received no financial help from Meghan after she married Harry. The paparazzi photos, which he said were staged for quick cash, underline his desperation. Now, imagine holding onto a bombshell secret, like your daughter's real birth certificate. Wouldn't the temptation to use it, either for attention or financial gain, be overwhelming? Some royal watchers suggest Thomas knows exactly what he's doing, keeping himself relevant, marketable, and profitable in the ongoing Markle versus Royals saga. Or is it simply the truth? But here's the twist. What if Thomas is telling the truth, not out of spite, but out of a sense of justice? He has repeatedly said in interviews, the public deserves to know the real Meghan. He paints himself as a whistleblower, a man unafraid to reveal uncomfortable truths, even if it destroys his relationship with his daughter forever. To Thomas, exposing Meghan's real age might not be cruelty. It might be his way of showing the world that Meghan isn't the fairy tale princess she pretends to be. In his eyes, it's about pulling the mask off. Family feud or public soap opera. Here's where things get messy. For years, Meghan has accused her father of exploiting her fame. Thomas has accused Meghan of abandoning him. Samantha Markle, Meghan's half-sister, has thrown her own accusations into the fire. It's less of a family and more of a Shakespearean drama playing out in tabloids worldwide. So when Thomas steps forward with documents, not just words, not just interviews, but physical proof, this feud takes on a whole new dimension. It's no longer just he said, she said. It's evidence. And evidence changes everything. Why now? That's the question everyone is asking. Why is Thomas choosing this moment to drop the bombshell? Is it to sabotage Meghan's influence as she tries to rebrand herself in Hollywood? Is it revenge for being excluded from his grandchildren's lives? Or is it sheer desperation? A man nearing the end of his life determined to unburden himself of secrets? Every possibility adds another layer of intrigue. And every layer makes the royals more anxious, the tabloids more ravenous, and Meghan's silence more deafening. The fallout, how this escalates the feud. This isn't just another round of Markle family drama. This revelation, if proven true, could ignite an inferno. For Meghan, her credibility would take a crushing blow. Every past interview, every public statement, every carefully crafted image would be re-examined under a microscope. For Harry, he would be caught in the crossfire, forced to defend his wife against her own father while knowing the truth might not be on their side. For the royals, it's another scandal, another tabloid frenzy, another reason for critics to question why Meghan was ever welcomed into the fold. For Thomas, he gains relevance, but at what cost? A final nail in the coffin of his relationship with his daughter? The feud, already bitter, could spiral into something irreparable. And this time, it wouldn't just be family gossip, it would be global news. Curiosity teaser. But the age scandal might just be the beginning. Insiders whisper that Thomas holds more than just a birth certificate. Rumors swirl of letters, photographs, and testimonies that could expose hidden chapters of Meghan's life. The real question now isn't just how old is Meghan really, but what else has been hidden from the world, and how long until it all comes spilling out?